Hey guys, Stu from Core Aspect AI here. I just wanted to create a little demo for Claude Desktop. Um, some people may not have been using Claude Desktop to its maximum capacity. Claude is, with MCPs, is extremely powerful. If you use Filesystem and if you use a few internet MCPs, browsing tools or fetching tools, you've got Fetch, you've got Brave. Brave will search the web. You have to configure the API, but it's pretty straightforward and simple, and you get loads of free credits to use the API. Fetch will just allow you to fetch data from a particular website once it's been searched. And then you have the file system, which you give Claude access to a particular directory within your operating system's file system. It allows it to read and write from that file system. And by doing this, you create an extremely powerful system whereby you can keep context within chats or in new chats. If you know how to create a system prompt and almost like a mini file system that can do this for you. And I've created one. I've been using this for a while now, but I don't see many people talking about it or using it. And that's probably because no one's talking about it. Anyway, Alejo in the group did mention the other day about something that he's doing, which is pretty cool with artifacts. And artifacts are effectively like almost files within Claude where you can create diagrams and various things like that. However, what you can do is you can actually create a versioning system that allows you to work on a big project. Everyone's going to know that if you're using Claude, you're going to get to a certain point in time where you're going to get a dreaded message. I can probably show you one. Let's just show you one of these examples. It's not a good one. I've got loads in here because I've been testing this, so some of them are massive. Here we go. So Claude hit the maximum length for this conversation. Please start a new conversation, continue chatting with Claude. And this is really annoying because if anything like me who tries to push this shit to the limit, you're going to get really annoyed once you've gone through a massive research piece, and then you've ended up going, oh shit, I've hit the maximum length for the conversation. Now what do I do? How do I get the context and all of the stuff that I've done before, and how do I make it understand what I've literally just been talking about for the last, I don't know, hour, 2 hours, however long you've been doing this stuff already. It just has no more ability to then go, oh yeah, I know what I'm doing. Okay, so you can actually make it do that. And I want to highlight, you can also do something similar with projects. However, this is slightly more powerful, in my opinion, than projects. And I'll let you be the judge of that, and you decide what you want to do with it. I'm actually going to release this. What is it? It's almost like what I would call a Claude application. So it's going to be a zip file. What you're going to do, and again, this is just the intro to this entire process. What you're going to do, and I may show you or may not show you, depending on if anybody is interested in me doing that, is what you'll do is you'll load the Claude Desktop on whatever operating system you're running. You will then load the MCPs for Fetch, which you can get from the GitHub repositories, Fetch, Brave, and the file system MCP, which allows you to interact with your own file system. And don't worry, this isn't going to suddenly take control of your PC and start doing bad things. It's contained within a particular directory. So in my particular instance, it's Claude file system, I've called it. So it's just like C:\/ Claude file system. You set it so it explicitly has access to that particular directory file system within your environment. If it's on Mac, it'll be on a drive, and it'll be under a particular directory. Again, same principle. Then when you're interacting with Claude, because it understands what it has access to MCP wise, and they can be actually shown. Yeah, for example, you can see here. Mine's got access to a whole bunch of different things, but file system, Brave search is the ones we're talking about, and fetch. You can also give it access to memory, which you can actually retain memory if you wanted to, but I won't go into that today. Postgres, which is a database. GitHub, you can actually make it write and read from your GitHub repository, which is pretty cool. Puppeteer, and that's even more cool. It allows you to actually interact with websites and do things, but we're not going to get into that. You can have more as well. Anyway, so these what it has access to. Plus, it also has access to these if you want Drive, web search, which is reasonably new, but I use Brave, so you can probably use web search. To be honest, you might actually better get away with this in this scenario with just using the file system. However, I would strongly suggest you give it access to the internet in some form, and the ability to fetch from a particular website if you're doing research for this example. But what I'm trying to say here is that the approach that I'm using isn't just for what I'm going to give you. You can be creative with the way you use this, because what effectively it is, it's a way to build a mini context-aware application file system within your Claude environment that allows you to almost have a mini agent on your own machine that does a thing for you, specifically for you in a context that you want. So if you want to do a research thing and you don't want to go through the problem of having a broken context window, or where you're doing a big research piece and you want to give it access to the data that you've already been extracting, you create a prompt that allows it to write to the file system, read from the file system, and maintain a state of the operations that you're performing to allow it to, when you're starting a new chat, to effectively spawn an identical chat with context, with a prompt where it understands what it's trying to do and where it's up to within the context of what it's trying to do. Yeah, okay. So hopefully you understand that. And you will understand it. It's just, okay. So what I've set this up to do is read from a directory. It's going to read from the directory that I've set up, and I will share this file, this zip file with you, which you'll load in your file system, your Claude file system, or a directory that you've given Claude access to. And this is, it reads from this, it understands the prompt, or understands what it's supposed to do. It reads all the data that it's supposed to read, and then it will ask you questions. So in this example, what it's going to do is it's going to build you a system, a solution that allows you to find opportunities with voice AI based on a heap of questions it's going to ask you about your particular scenario. Now, I've just built this and I've not fully tested it yet. Like, this is the first run. And I'm only doing this as an example to show you, and if I get feedback that people actually care, then I'll do more. But I'm doing this as an example because I sent a whole bunch of stuff to Alejo this evening, which he's in bed right now, and he'll get up and he'll go, "What the fuck is Stu talking about?" So it's easier if he watches this video than my verbal diarrhea that he's going to get in his messages. And it might be useful to anybody else who's watching it that cares and that understands the concept of what this is, and how powerful it is and how useful it is if they're doing research projects to try and understand particular things. Because like I said, the concept here is that you can get Claude to do things for you, but also remember the things that it's doing for you, so that when you run out, once your chat becomes too long and you cannot then do anything anymore, you'll get frustrated and you'll have to then give it context again and copy things and paste things, and it's real frustrating, especially when you're doing coding or long form, complicated research, where you need to give it context each time you start a new chat so that it can go back to and work on the thing it's working on. Okay, so I created a prompt for the setup of this particular system. So I want to create my personalized voice AI business opportunity discovery system. Please, one, find and read the setup wizard MD in my voice AI template system folder. Two, begin interactive setup process to create and customize the system, create a new directory for my personalized system based on the responses to the start wizard. So basically what it's going to do is read that file, and then it's going to do the things in that file, I hope, because this is, I had a system set up for me. Now I've created a wizard to create one for you. So this is the first run. Let's see what it does. I bet it runs out of memory straight away. Okay. So what it's doing is it's looking in the list of directories in your Claude file system, and it's going to try and understand what's in there. If it's got access. If it's not got access, it'll ask you for access. Perfect. And here we go. Now it starts to do the thing. So it's going to read. And you notice these little things here. This is when it's accessing your file system. Cool. Here we go. So has everything it needs. Interactive setup wizard for your personalized voice business opportunity discovery system. Anyway, it greets you, and it goes through the phases. And this is new to me as well because I've already done this, but this is for you. So hopefully it works. So the setup wizard is going to create you a new folder, and that new folder is going to have all of the things that you want that are relevant to what your goals are. So the context discovery is 1 to 7 questions, understanding your background, goal definition, 8 to 12, revenue targets, timeline, resources assessment, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you can have fun doing this yourself. And I'll do it basically, not going to fill in all the details for me personally, because otherwise it would take too long. But so let's start understanding your background. Question 1. So what we do basically here is you just answer the question. So I would just go 1. What's your name? My name's Stu. I'll put my name is, just in case it gets confused. The project is called AI Voice for Amplify. Yeah, anyway, it's going to tell you what it's going to tell you the directory it's going to call it under, and that's important later on because you'll use that directory as a reference point for when you're creating other things. So when it runs out of context, runs out of, when your chat history, when your chat window closes, you'll have a prompt that references the directory. And that's important because you might have multiple directories within your file system, and it needs to understand contextually which one that it needs to reference. And anyway, that makes sense as you go. And then I go to, I always kind of do it this way. Industry you're currently working in. I'm going to say medical healthcare, and you can do whatever you want here. It'll work shit out. And you, to be honest, you don't even need to spell properly either. I never bother doing spelling properly anymore. And we're going to do medical healthcare, and we're going to do what else should we do? Trades, trades and services, and geographic focus. We're going to say Sydney. We'll just say Australia. There you go. Cool. So project Stu, AI voice amplify. Let's continue. Question 4, current business situation. We're going to say I hate when it's not got the right word. Even though I said I didn't like spelling, I actually sometimes do like spelling. Just occasionally when I leave a letter out. Yeah, embarrassing that I can't spell. Anyway, I can do other shit. So what does it ask me? Need 20k per month MRR. Now these are useful answers to questions, because what it's going to do is it's going to help you understand the markets and then try and build. This is what I'm hoping it's going to do. It's going to build you opportunities for your experience and for potentially your ideal pipeline, your ideal revenue targets. Which would be cool. Hope it's going to do this. I'm technical. And please give me, when I give you this to use, if people want it, because obviously I'm not going to just waste my time if nobody wants it. Please give me feedback on some of it, and we can tailor it and enhance it and make it better, and then everyone can use it to hopefully build a usable opportunity pipeline solution, and help make more money. 5 technical questions, 6 testing voice experience, and I'll go yes I do. 6 yes lots. Yes lots. Implemented. No, 10. We'll just make up a number. See if it makes a difference. What's your current monthly revenue? So we'll go 7, 15k. 15k. Looking to double. Excellent. Phase 1. Blah blah blah. Technical. Wait. Anyway, don't know where 20k is coming from. Maybe I did say 20k somewhere. Maybe I didn't. Anyway, we can work on that. Target goal. Let's just say 30k. Target's 30. There may be some discrepancies in here with how it's. I say programmed. It's not really programmed. It's just like prompted. It feels a bit like programming, but it's kind of weird prompting, which is pretty cool. It's kind of agentic to a degree, or it could be agentic to a degree if I got more agents talking to them. Question 8. Target monthly revenue goal based on your classifications above. Target's 30. 9. Timeline. Timeline 6 months. Risk tolerance. Risk tolerance is pretty high, sadly, for my own faults. There we go. Let's see what this does. Who knows? Ambitious. Yep. Phase 2. Revenue 30. 6. Risk tolerance high. 11. Business model appeals to you most. Recurring subscription. Subscription. Custom type. We have a B. There you go. Again, this is literally the first run of this. So I'm just recording it. I'm just going to give it to you, and if it doesn't work, then you can see where I'm going with it anyway. Like, it's seriously asking me the questions here. My first version was not like this. I'm full time and startup budget. What would I be? 14, B, 15, solo, because I'm hand solo. 16, I was ahead of growth. Head of growth for a startup. You have to excuse me, it's quite cold in here in Sydney today, and I'm outside in my office, which is basically a shed. But anyway, 17 connections network. We'll just say limited. Boom. See what's going to happen now. See, the magic is you can do this all with Claude, with this file system, because you give it the framework to work with instead of just like in native, like you're just prompting and you're just asking questions and answers and questions and answers. What this does is it actually, based on the framework that you've given it, it will create. This is going to create an entirely new operating system for you for this now. Like, it's going to create a new file system within your because this is the setup one, that allows you to do research based on all of the criteria that you put in here, ongoing forever, like ever, enough. So to be honest, I wasn't expecting it to give me this to be this this in depth, and maybe we can dial it back a little bit. But hey, look, you're only going to take, after you, if you're not doing a video like me where you're actually reading the questions and not talking, you probably better get to where you need to get to pretty quickly. We're going to do national, because I want to target all the peoples. I'm going to go 19. Yeah, trades. We'll do trades, and then we're going to go 20 tech skills. New. I'm talking myself up here. Am I an expert? I don't know. How do you prefer to acquire customers? What we're going to do, we are going to do LinkedIn and cold email, because we've got a very clever job board strategy, which is kind of built into this actually. I hope, anyway. I thought I put it in. And then we're going to do communication style. What's this about? Email communication. We'll just say email, because I'm getting bored of the questions. My ADD won't allow me to do too much more of this before it just tries to. So even typed in ADD because I'm getting bored of it. Email. There we go. Now, what's it going to do now? Like I said, this is the first go. So here we go. So it's creating directories. So it's now going to go through and create your entire special new 100% unique opportunity system for Claude. Now this start file is a key part here, and hopefully it's going to, I asked it to, at the end of its creation process, it's going to give you like a small prompt, a small instruction prompt, and all this prompt really is just like, when you go to a new chat, you just go, okay, so read from this particular directory, your new directory that's just created, the start MD file, and then follow those instructions. So what it will do from there, when you go into your new in your chat, it will start operating within that directory environment, and then whenever you need to do anything within that directory environment, you just use this this start file. You just use the same prompt. And what's pretty cool about it, if it's done what I've asked it to do, is it gives you a heap of different options. So it will allow you to work on something you've already been working on. Have an idea scratch board where you're just brainstorming different ideas, and a heap of other different options as well, that it'll let you do. And you'll see them in a minute once it's finished doing its business. But you can see this is pretty fucking cool. Really, really cool. Like, who's doing this? And I'm also thinking about doing this in NAN itself. So it could actually be it could not dynamic as such. That you could use the same approach, but from anywhere. So you're not on your desktop. You can write to a Google Drive or another file system in the cloud, and you would use something like Telegram to interact with it, and it would be a human in the loop style conversational flow, because you can do that with NAN using a human in the loop via Slack or Telegram or even email or whatever. It waits for your response, and then it will process based on your response. So it will ask you the same kind of questions that are coming out here. It will work through the same prompt, which is effectively what I put in the background, and it will come back with the same set of questions to help refine its output. And then you will, and I'm just thinking about this as I'm talking about it, because it's not something that I've done. Well, I've done this kind of thing before, but not this complicated for this kind of context. Then what you will do is interact with the same Telegram or a secondary Telegram from that directory, or you maybe just prompt it actually with your new prompt, and it will then allow you to start to have a proper chat with it contextually about this business, voice business AI type chat. But again, like I said, you can do this for anything. Like, you can make this for social media posts, or even potentially creating actual voice prompts based on Q&A feedback from clients. So you could build something like this that would be on your website potentially, or you would, part of your onboarding process, you would send this kind of thing to your client. You send the Telegram thing to your client, and your client would then start to answer the questions and answers that your AI is sending it to about the particular business that it's running. And then it will then build the framework for a prompt that then can be sent to you, that you finalize it and finish it off and do whatever. Or maybe not. Maybe you can do most of it. The way that if you clearly define what you need it to do, and potentially it can do it itself. But anyway, you can do the same thing. It's the same process. And you can see that it's doing a hell of a lot of work here. It's pretty cool. So what's it going to do? What is it going to do? It's creating the first opportunity for me, which is pretty cool. And I built this, my own one before I did this, before I built this like setup program that builds the opportunities builder. I've been playing around with this for it to do research on different opportunities for the things that I'm quite keen on exploring. And it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. Because you get it to read the file system for the opportunities, and then you can do it in an individual chat, so that it will keep context for that chat, for that opportunity, and you can keep getting it to write back more data. And because it's got access to the internet and whatever else you want to give it MCP wise, you can get access to. And it can produce your charts and data and whatever. And because you're working with Claude, it's super smart. You will get limitations if you're really hitting it hard. You'll get limitations. For example, like this, we're getting a limit. So in this particular instance, we can continue, which is cool, because it's going to get to the it's already written the project that we need, so we can go back to it. But we'll just let it do its thing for a second. And like I said, this is the first run, the very first run of this new builder tool. So if it runs perfectly, I'll be like super amazed, because these things never first run perfectly. Because now it's trying to create the opportunity. And see, if I was going to modify this, and I probably will modify the way this new setup is working, I wouldn't get it to create the first opportunity straight away in the same chat, because it's already doing a lot of work, which is going to take up a lot of tokens, which means it's probably going to run out of memory for it to be able to do the rest of the stuff. But let's hope it doesn't. So I don't have to modify it, and it works in this recording, because that'd be nice to not have to redo it. But it's pretty cool, because what it does is it creates these like opportunity trackers, and it classifies whether it thinks the ideas that you have for the voice AI solutions are actually a good idea, and it will rank them. And every time you load it, it will re-rank them, and it will try and understand which is the best one that you should pursue. But it gets quite addictive, because you keep having ideas and you keep putting them in. It keeps building out these like mini business plans for each of these things that it does. And then you come to the next one and it says you should probably really start by doing the thing that's the best opportunity right now. But what would you like to do? And it gives you these options, and then you go, oh, I just want to do some more because it's fun. So yeah, you just keep doing these, doing new ones. But anyway, I keep going back to it. But the whole concept behind this, of allowing Claude to write to the file system, give it context, give it the prompt, etc., etc. You can do this with so many different things. And here, look, what's this? What's it going to do? Here we go. So it's 30K a month goal, Australian market focus, subscription revenue model aligned to your preferences, medical practice appointment automation, 92% score, revenue potential 45K a month by 12 months. Yeah, nice. Medical practices, efficiency, ROI, 60K a year, receptionist, 24K solutions. I mean, this is fucking cool, right? This is cool. All right, so every new Claude session, just do this. So now it's giving you the thing. So this is all you need to do. So this is all you need to do. And it tells you what you need to do, because I've made it smart. I'm continuing my voice AI business project. Please read this Start MD. Contains all of my context and will guide you through the enhanced session workflow. And that, I'll show you. Here's what you do. Now, does it work? This is a brand new file. So this is brand new directory is created. It's built all of the stuff based on all of the questions that you've just answered. And now this is your one prompt that you will use to help you go through your next session. And again, I'll go back to the same point. This doesn't have to be for this. You can create your own system that does whatever the hell you want, like whatever. Does it work? Does it work? It's going to read the directory. It's going to understand. Here are the files. What's in here? Is there anything in here? I don't know. Do I need to start from the beginning? It verifies. Doesn't. One of the things I noticed that because I was doing a heap of changes along the way to try and perfect this or whatever, because of my changes, thing is with writing the Claude file system and doing things and doing a lot of different changes, it doesn't naturally just read everything within your file system, like within the particular context of the directory every single time. You have to make sure that it does if you need it to, or give it very good guidelines to what it needs to do. So if you start to change your processes and do different things, and you leave redundant files hanging around, sitting around, they're going to stay there. And if you don't make it so that it naturally goes back and does a validation on itself, then you can get inconsistencies and things within the way that this works, because this isn't programming. This isn't like this isn't writing code. This is writing prompts that write to file systems that need to be made aware of things that are there. It's a very different thing to like native coding. You have to make it aware that these things are like a file. Like if you're coding and stuff, you give it access to files, and it accesses those, config ID files and various things, and it knows what to do, like it, because otherwise it won't work, just breaks. Whereas this is kind of fluid, and the more because I can ask this right now to change its entire system prompt effectively, or its system files, because I don't like the way that it produces some data. And it will go and do that, and you can rewrite its initial system prompts so that when you use the start command, that it will do different things. Like you can get it to you can change the start MD file to do different things as you want to modify and progress the system, which is like super cool and super flexible. But you just have to remember that you do need, and I would recommend you do go and ask it to reevaluate itself after it's done some things. Once it's done some changes, get it to look at the file system, reevaluate itself, see if anything can be improved, see if anything can be removed. And I would suggest you don't get it to remove things, but move them to a directory called human verification or something, whatever, so that you can see what it's removed, so that you can see whether it's an important thing for it to remove, because it will remove things. Like it can delete and update this virtualized file system that it has access to, so it can make changes to those files. Nothing bad on your system unless you give it access to you can give it access to a directory, like the system folder. You potentially don't do that anyway. So you can get it to change things, like as you're going through these prompts, when you're going through these in this particular is this opportunity solution, you can get it to change the way that it behaves for every new start if you wanted it to. If you see something that's not quite right, or you need a different type of report or a different type of file that it creates, you can ask it to change itself to be better. And this is what I've done. This is why I say try and get it to verify. Anyway, in this particular thing, I've got it to do some integrity verification as it does it, to just check on opportunities and things. Anyway, you can muck around with this as much as you like. Anyway, so it's checking the health, system's ready, session menu. It's going to tell you you've got some opportunities here, and every single one you add, it gives you another opportunity score, which is really cool. So now you can get to discover new opportunities, evaluate specific opportunities, so you can go to your existing ones and do some more. You can do deep dives, prioritization. You can do this, which is cool. Research target customers for each of the opportunities. Go to market. Quick ID capture. Okay, so let's just go to quick IDs. Option I. What about spelling guys? I'll just correct them so that looks better. Let's see what it does. I don't know. Is it going to work? Oh yeah, pretty cool. So there you go. I'll let you tell me if you want it. And this adds the ideas to the ideas bank. So there is so much more that happens. Is what you do is after you finish doing this is that you revenue 15 2,000 practice per group, scales with number of locations. It's fucking brilliant. So This is only the basic. The deep dive is when you get the overall ideas. You get it then to do a deep dive on each of those individual ideas, and it produces this crazy report. Let me see if I can find one for you. I did this today. Because I was doing something last night, and then Alejo posted in the group about his little trick, and I was just going through one of my previous things I did months ago now about with the Claude file system, and I'd left it in the bank, like just in the background for ages, because that seems to be what I do. But I have to, with my own personal business, I have to start getting a bit more specific about singular ideas and scaling, because otherwise it's just not going to work for me. Like, I just need to be more specific rather than being general, because it's really hard to be general. I can do everything and anything for anyone, but it's doing it yourself in multiple different solutions architectures becomes very tiring on your brain, and not particularly profitable when you're working on one thing for ages and ages and ages, and you have these clients that are really hard work, just working on your own. Anyway, that's my own personal business problems I'm dealing with, and this is why one of the reasons why I started to build these things after talking to Alejo and just understanding where I am with various things. Anyway, so it builds out these markdown files, so you can import this directly into Google Docs or whatever, and it will give you all of this analysis. And again, like I said, this is all fully fully tailored to how you want to do it. So it creates the opportunity overview, focus, target market, business model, implementations, the problem. It gives you the voice AI solution. It gives you the target profile, revenue analysis, market estimation. It does all this research for you using its magic. Like, is it all true? The data that it provides, it pulls back. I don't know. Like, fully, 100% like transparency. I don't know how accurate some of this shit is, but it's pretty good from the information that I've looked at, based on some of my personal experience in the recruitment industry. Not particularly these industries, but feel free to tell me whether it's true or not. But again, what you can do is, like I said, this is only like the basic, very basic first round, because you can take this and then use other tools to actually do full market analysis, like industry standard tools. You could use this as a base and then pull like full industry metrics into a full reporting, and actually provide this as like a fucking service for people. Like, yeah, this is my job board intelligence strategy. This is something that I'm working on, whereby you can actually find massive opportunities from people hiring for the particular thing that you're trying to target. Because I mean, effectively, what this is it's replacing jobs, augmenting jobs, taking the strain off people, whatever you want to call it. This is knowledge-based services. They're the jobs that we're, helping. Anyway, so what my intelligence strategy does, it actually looks at the job boards, and then it works out the roles are on particular niches, industries, based on job titles, etc. And it works them out. And it does heaps of other stuff. It tells you how to position it, ROI frameworks, information. I mean, this stuff is it's so cool. It excites me because whilst I gave it the initial instructions about what to do, it did so much of this on its own. And I can't even take, like, honestly, I can't even take the credit for making this shit work properly, like what it's producing report wise. I just gave it I just gave it some data and it just did the thing. Anyway, it's cool because it tells you services needed, analysis on the competition, advantages, positioning, pilot programs, scaling strategy, risk factors, valuation, scoring. Anyway, it does this. I'm going to give this all to you if you want it. You just have to tell me if you want it. Yeah, anyway. So that's it for my initial 45 minutes of waffling. But I built this today, and then I built the system that builds it so that you can all use it based on your requirements, whatever the fuck. Just tell me if you want it. Laters.